Hello and welcome back, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. My name is Sam and today I'm going to be sharing with you some books that I think are unputdownable. If you're in a reading slump, these are going to get you out of it. Fast-paced, just shocking, read in one sitting type of books. At least for me they were. So I'm going to recommend them to you and hope that they work for you as well. I have done this video before and I will link that down below. But we're just gonna get started. I have 10 books to share with you. Most of them are thrillers. I do have some romance and then like a fantasy book on here. So we're just gonna start out with a thriller that is by one of my favorite thriller authors, and that is Little Secrets by Jennifer Hillier. I feel like from what I remember, this isn't as dark as her other thrillers because she tends to really take it there in not like gory scenes or anything like that, but she doesn't shy away from, you know, the messed up stuff. And I don't remember this one being like super messed up. Our heroine, she is going through a lot. Her name is Marin. She is married to her college sweetheart. She owns very upscale hair salons and she has a son who she loves dearly. And they are out shopping one day in Seattle. I believe this is, yeah, Seattle. And she turns her back for a second and her son is missing. And now it is 2 years later. There have been no leads, no progress with this case, so she is going to take it upon herself to get some answers. She hires a private investigator, and the investigator uncovers that her husband is cheating on her with a much younger woman. And she's determined, I've lost my son, I'm not going to lose my husband. And things go from there. This, very twisty, and again, I could not put it down. I love Jennifer Hillier. I love her writing so much. If you haven't read one of her books, please do so. The next book that I have to recommend is The Last Party by A.R. Torre. I can never remember which way you pronounce her last name. This one we are following Perla, who again she has the perfect life, seemingly on the outside. She is married. They are very wealthy. They have a beautiful daughter who is, I can't remember how old she is, but she is coming up on a birthday. And Perla wants this birthday to be absolutely perfect. She has everything planned out to a T. She is basically like she's the perfect mother. But Perla isn't as put together, as, you know, joyous as she may seem on the outside, because she has an obsession with a murder that happened years ago. And so you're following Perla as she is preparing for this birthday party for her daughter, and this case that happened years ago where 2 girls were murdered, and kind of how everything comes together. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to give too much away, but when I tell you the amount of times that my jaw was on the floor during this book, I'm not like, it was so much. I'm like, I cannot believe that this is happening right now. I cannot believe that this is happening. And yeah, it did. It happened. It went there. Just super shocking, super twisty, and pick this one up if you have not already. It was really good. And I believe if you have Kindle Unlimited, it is free to read and listen to, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure. Next up, I'm going to recommend a romance. I love this book so much. This is my newest obsession. I love this book. Be With Me by Gabrielle Sands. This is book 1 in the House of Ferraro. Yes, Ferraro series. It is a mafia romance. We are following Mia and Romolo. See, his name does not sound sexy when I say it, but like, he's sexy, okay? So Mia is a good girl through and through, and Romolo is not. He is part of the mafia. His family, they are, you know, they're a huge crime, like organized crime family. They've done some pretty bad things, and he has done some bad things for his family. And Mia's father is actually running for mayor, and he has basically, his campaign has been all about taking down the Ferraro family and all of the organized crime families that are in, is this New York or Chicago? Whatever city. He's like, I'm going to take them down. That is going to be the first thing that I do. And so Mia and Romalo run into each other at a party, and he thinks she's familiar, but he can't quite place where he has seen her before. And they have this interaction, and there's definitely some attraction from both of them. But Mia is just like, get me out of here, get me out of here, get me out of here, because she knows who he is. But when he finds out who Mia is, he's like, you are not getting away from me. That makes me want you even more. And at first it's, I'm going to use you and kind of this relationship that I'm going to force upon you for my benefit and my family's benefit. But obviously that turns into so much more, and the connection that they have is so genuine. And I loved how protective he was of her, and him as a hero. He was just such a breath of fresh air for a mafia hero. I personally haven't read too many heroes like him. He was vulnerable in the ways that he needed to be, but also, like, I mean, he's part of the mafia, so he is hardened and he has to kind of show that. But with Mia, there was more to him, and I loved his backstory, and I loved how he loved Mia, and I loved how Mia loved him. This was so good. I read this literally in one sitting. I sat on my couch with my Kindle in my hand, and I could not put this down. So if you want a new mafia romance, this one is it. I promise you will love it. The next book that I am going to recommend, I actually just finished. And that is The Guilty One by Kiersten Modglin. I'll have it up here. You guys, I'm so bad. This one, again, I read this in a day. The audiobook is super short. I was able to get it through my Libby app, and I didn't see any of the twists coming. It kind of reminded me of a Frida McFadden book where it's just, I mean, you're sucked in immediately. So we are following Celine, and she gets a phone call at the beginning of this book that her husband has been in an accident and he did not make it. And the police are calling her saying, we need you to identify his body. And when she gets there and she sees this man, it's not her husband. And so that leads into, what the heck is going on? Who is this man? How is he connected to my husband? And where is my husband? And then you are getting the husband's point of view from 12 years ago and the things that led up to him going missing. This was so good from start to finish. This had so many twists, and especially the end. It's like, okay, let's just throw another twist in there. Next up, we have That's Not My Name by Megan Lally. This is a YA thriller. Before you snub your nose at it because it's YA, I thoroughly enjoyed this book as a 33-year-old woman. It did not feel too YA for me. I mean, you can definitely tell that these characters are young, but it was a super fast read, it was bittersweet at the end. So we are following this girl, and I'm not going to say her name because at first she does not know her name. She turns up at this police station. She has been concussed. She's clearly been in an accident. She looks worse for wear, and she goes into this police station and says, I don't know who I am. I don't know where I am. But then a man comes in claiming that this girl is his daughter. And the police, you know, they do all of their checks and everything seemingly checks out. And so they're like, yeah, this is your dad. Go home, you know, let us know if you need anything. So she's forced to blindly trust this man, and things just aren't feeling quite right in her gut. And she's like, is this who I am? Is this man really my father? And then you have Drew, who about 5-6 weeks ago, his girlfriend went missing, and everyone in town thinks that Drew had something to do with it. So Drew is on a mission to clear his name and find his girlfriend, because he knows, I would never hurt her. I did not hurt her, and she's alive. I'm gonna find her. And then you follow both of their perspectives as they come together, and you realize what is actually going on. It, like I said, bittersweet. It was sad, but still like thrilling. I couldn't put it down. I really couldn't. I mean, that's the theme of this video, obviously. How many more times do I have to say it? So the next book that I am going to recommend to you guys is Heartless Hunter by Kristen Ciccarelli. I don't know. This is a YA/new adult romantasy. We are following Rune and Gideon. Now, Rune she's seen as this very vapid socialite. She only cares about, you know, what people think about her, what's the newest gossip, going to parties, things like that. But underneath it all, she's actually a witch in hiding, and she kind of doubles as someone called the Crimson Moth. And now the Crimson Moth, Gideon, who is the hero, he's hunting down the Crimson Moth because Gideon is a commander in the Royal Guard, Royal Army, and his job is to hunt down witches. And he has a very personal vendetta against witches because his life when he was younger was absolutely devastated by witches. And so he just wants them gone. Now, Gideon and Rune, they kind of run in the same social circles because Rune is best friends with Gideon's younger brother. And so they see a lot of each other. There's always been an attraction there, but she knows who Rune is and how he feels about witches. And so she's like, we cannot go there. But they decide they're gonna go there, and they're both gonna kind of use each other for their own respective goals. This book was super high stakes. There's lots of political intrigue. There's lots of like good banter and tension in here. So much betrayals, and the ending will leave you needing to go straight into the second book. It was a super easy read. The world building is very easy to get into. Nothing too complex here. So definitely if you're looking for just a really fun time, try this one. And then we're gonna go for another thriller, and that one is another one by Jennifer Hillier. And this is one that I have recommended before, but I just had to recommend it again because it is so good. The Butcher. So we are following 3 different perspectives. We have former police chief Edward Shank, who is notoriously known for catching and killing a serial killer called the Butcher. And then we have Edward's grandson, Matt, who moves into Edward's home because Edward is now going to a nursing home, like a community home. And so he is selling his house, giving his house to his grandson. And Matt finds some disturbing things that were his grandfather's. And then we have Sam, who is Matt's girlfriend. And Sam is super into true crime, and she is actually writing a piece on the Butcher. And when I tell you things get crazy in here, they get crazy. And like I said earlier, Jennifer Hillier is not afraid to go there. This is one where if you don't want the dark side of things, don't read this book. But if you like some dark and juicy stuff, pick this up. Just pick it up, okay? Trust me. It's getting a lot of hype, and it should. It should. It deserves all the hype that it is getting. Okay, and now I'm going to move on to another mafia romance, and that is Empire of Temptation by Mila Finelli. I know this is the first book in a series. I forget the series, but we are following Valentina and Luca. Now, Valentina is struggling to keep her family-owned restaurant afloat. She's got a lot of pressure, and things are just, they're not going the way that she needs it to. And then you have Luca, who comes into her restaurant. He has his reasons. He wants to use Valentina to get to her father, not expecting when he gets to this restaurant and he sees Valentina to be just completely enamored with her. And he sees how much she is struggling, and he really just comes in and takes over. And Valentina is like, nobody else is helping me. Like, I'm going to accept your help, but very reluctantly. And so their romance kind of goes from there. And this, again, is one that I read in 1 or 2 sittings. It is spicy. I mean, mafia heroes too, they always are just so protective. And I love the way that Luca wanted to take care of Valentina, because she really didn't have a whole lot of people in her corner to take care of her. So it was a really good time. The next book that I have is another thriller, and that is Nanny Needed by Georgina Cross. So in this book, we are following Sarah. Now, Sarah is struggling to get out of debt. She was raised by her aunt, and her aunt got very sick, and so Sarah was doing everything that she could to help her aunt with her expenses, medical care, things like that. So now that her aunt has passed, she's left with all of this debt, and she's working and she lives with her boyfriend or fiance, but they just cannot get their heads above water. And so when she sees a ad for a nanny needed in the lobby of her apartment, she decides, I'm gonna go and check this out, because the money was good, the hours were good. She's like, what do I have to lose here? And so when she goes for the interview, she is met with the Bird family. And now the Bird family, they are very wealthy, very kind of elusive. They have this allure to them that she's like, who are you people? I want to get to know you. I want to uncover all of your secrets. The interview goes very well, and she ends up being offered the job, but she has to sign an NDA. And she's like, oh, that's a little weird. But everything else kind of made up for it. The hours, the money, the child, this little girl who she was supposed to be watching, but like her mother basically did everything for her. They had a cook. They had, other people, other staff in the house to help them. So she's like, this is going to be cake. I'm going to just get this money, pay off my debt, and be good. But that is not what happens. The more that she works for them, the more that she gets to know about this Bird family, she's like, who the hell are you? Who am I working for? What is happening here? And the end of this book, I loved it. Loved it. It was so freaking good and so perfect. Just a perfect wrap up for this book. It was good. And the ending of this book was the perfect ending for this book. It wrapped up so good. I was like, hell yes, when I read the end of this book, because it was a wild ride. And then the last book that I have to recommend to you guys, once again, I have talked about this so much. That's why I put it last, because if you make it to this point, thank you. But I didn't want to put it first and you'd be like, we've heard about it already. I love this book so much. So much. It is one of my favorite reads of the year. It's not a very long read, and if you can get the audiobook, I highly recommend the audio. It was done so well. I've recommended this to friends and they have flew through this book. So I know that it is one that not just I flew through, other people that I've recommended this book to flew through it as well. And the thing with this book is I can't tell you a whole lot about it. I think it is best going into this book not knowing a whole lot. We are following a woman named Beth, and Beth is married and she's happy. but someone from her past shows back up, and it brings up a lot of feelings and things get very messy. And this is told in dual timelines. So you have Beth in present day and what is happening in present day. And then you have the past when she meets this person who's just shown back up in her life and kind of their relationship and things that went down. So please read this book if you have not already. It is so freaking good. It is so good. Trust me. Just please trust me. If you only read one book from this video, make it be this one. So those are all of the books that I have to share with you today. If you have made it to this point in the video and you'd like to let me know, leave me a B in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and join my Patreon if you want to do that. And I will see you next time.